Good morning, and good morning. Happy New Year. How are you doing? I tell you, it's cold today and it's raining, and of course, had to go put my garbage can out, and I was like, so I froze getting in there, getting it back in, and all the decorations are down. So we're now into the new year. And how was your new year? How was it coming in? Mine was good. Went to church, did watch night service, did all of that kind of stuff, and enjoyed it. And came home, rested well. In fact, that was one of the things that I was intentional in doing over the holiday season was to rest, and I got my rest in. I did. So this morning I have my hot tea. I have on my scarf. Good morning, Joan. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Happy New Year. And I found this scarf over. You can't really see it because of the white just reflects so highly on the material, but it says, "Don't forget to be awesome." That's my today's message to you. Be awesome, be original, be your own self, create stuff that it came from within you on your creation, and be happy for what 2024 is going to do that 23 just maybe started breaking open the shell on. Create it, grow it, make it yours, make it what it is that you want. And this morning I found a couple of poems. Happy New Year to you all too. I found a couple of poems that I really liked. um, I went to the eye doctor last month, the beginning of this actually might have been at the end of November, and ever since she dilated my eyes have not been right, especially my right one, which is my good, which is my good eye. So I have to be very, very careful. So I'm going to go back because I don't know what's wrong with it. It's almost like it has like a hair in it or something that I can't get out. Good morning, Marie. Say Mo. Happy New Year to you. I did get to see you at midnight, so it's good to know that we went to church and we enjoyed ourselves, and we got there safely and got back home safely. So that's wonderful. But here's a couple of poems I had that I just had happened to be looking for on the internet that to me speaks to self, speaks to the importance of who we are as our own, vision, our own wonderment, our own togetherness for ourselves and hopefully for others. But it says, don't ever think you're alone here. We've just been trapped in different hells. And people aren't against you, dear. They're just all for themselves. So sometimes you have to think about what it is that you want for yourself and what others want from you. Sometimes it's your originality. Think about it. And then the last one I have, and I don't know who EH is. He's all over, or she's all over the internet as just EH. Now, I always used to think, is this Ernest Hemingway? It's good stuff. So it may be. Maybe that there's somebody that dissected some of his pieces and put it out there like that. Here's another one. It says, perhaps we only leave so we may once again arrive to get a bird's eye view of what it means to be alive. For there is beauty in returning. Oh, how wonderful, how strange to see that everything is different, but no, it's only you who's changed. Sometimes we have to do the changing. We can't expect anyone to do anything for us. Hey, Tammy, how are you doing, my friend? Love talking to you the other day, but sometimes we have to be the change. We can't wait for others to change. So, and sometimes we are changed by others, are we not? Good morning, Calethea. How are you? Happy New Year to you, Tammy, Maurice, everybody, Joan. I'm just excited that I'm back doing what I love to do. During my absence, I did get a rising creator acknowledgement again. It just went off late yesterday, so maybe I'll get it again as just someone that's out here trying to do good in the world. But But let's talk about being original. What I find is that after people see what you do and know what you do, they may like it. They may work with it without giving any recognition. And sometimes that's okay because they say flattery, comes in the form of somebody maybe saying something the way you say it, doing things the way you do them. And you can acknowledge that as just being, take it to heart that it's good. But I say be your own original. Original, what is it? Original says is of relating to or consisting an origin or a beginning. Are you the beginning of something that's been earthed in you through your poetry, through your writings, through your presentations, through some creative artwork that you do? Maybe it's your music, your musicality. To me, when we think about our lives, there's always a presence that we give and an essence in our absence, always. I don't care who we are. I don't care who we are. It may be the perfume that we had on. It may be the look that we presented with. It may be the way we cock our head, or the way we use our hands, our gesturing. Always those things become the original you, even if we don't think so. Somebody else has noticed particular things just about us. Good morning, Erica. How are you doing, my sweet friend? Love you. Good morning, Debbie. Happy New Year to you too. Good morning. Good morning. We're talking about being original, and when I think about even some of the young ladies and men and others on the line, we have a connection, even if it's just online. But the connection that we formed has given me an idea that you might like to do this, you might love to do that. And so we get it. Good morning, Ardelia. We may get it. We may get what we are able to garner or gather from just you being who you are. And the exciting thing is that I love people being their original selves. You don't have to make up anything else. If you're a person who loves to laugh, or you're very loud, that's you. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. So original also talks about being the first instance or the source from which something could be copied, or there's reproduction, or there's transition, which is said it's made into something else. So we sometimes forget that we are the essence of an origin that began years and years prior to us ever being born. Our forefathers, they were the essence. Now, maybe we didn't do some of the things that they did because we weren't born at that time. It wasn't our time. So this is our time, but we can acknowledge the fact that we all have an origin. We all have a beginning. And this is the beginning of a new year. What do we do with our beginnings? We may start off slow. We may be a little, pointless. We may be kind of in the wilderment or wonderment of I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. But it is a beginning. It is a beginning. And it also talks about the original being that which a copy, reproduction, or translation is made, but it's made in such a way to make it the first, the earliest, the primary. Sometimes we always talk about, when you're dealing with education, there's a primary section of learning. That's going to be the early section, primary, meaning not much before it, but you're learning something. It says it's untouched, meaning that you may be the one that discovers how to make it grow better for yourself. To me, I'm always in awe of musicians who are so talented, and you wonder about their beginnings. What started it all? Was it, like for Mr. Al Martin, it was the piano, but it was a play piano that it began on. And his sister received the piano, but yet and still, he took an interest in being able to play the play piano. It wasn't even a real piano, but it had notes. almost like a harmonica does, so it was small enough. And he says he just sat on the floor and he would try to figure out how to make this little thing sound, like it was songs being played. And she didn't have the interest in it, he did. And he ended up being like what I would call a master musician, a musician's musician, because he read music, he could write music, he was able to, orchestrate an orchestra, that all the parts come in while he's still seated at his piano. To me, that is original. That's an original gift. And sometimes we don't acknowledge our gifts. Be who you are. Yes. Period. I love it. That's true. It says we also, when we look at original, it says we look at it being something that is true, something that's real, something that's individualized. It says something that is a pioneering. How many of you have pioneered something? Totally yours, Now I know migration and people who copy will take what you did and build on it. No problem. No problem. Because sometimes the original is always the best, because that's what is many times retained in memory. People remember the original. They remember when something started. Okay. They also remember as it grows. They remember the growth process from the start to where it grows to. And the original talks about it being the beginning. So I'm asking you, here we are in 2024, totally a new year. Where are you? Where are you? Are you going to be original in this year, finding something that really speaks to you? Maybe it's and it doesn't matter the age, because to me, learning is lifelong. I've always believed that every day you get up, you have the opportunity to learn something you did not know yesterday. You didn't know it, but yet and still you learned it yesterday, and now you can use it today. That's how learning is. Learning is something that it's fundamentally grounded in goodness, unless it's something that you learn that was evil. It says, and Mr. Owl was the absolute best accompanist for vocalists too. Absolutely. Every time Mr. Owl played for me, as Erica and so many other people in this area, we shined. We shined because he glowed. He had an essence that was just perfect. And he did it in such a way that you didn't realize, you did not realize how great he was to make you sound as good as you could be. That's true. That's just a true statement. Every time he played for me, I would call myself writing a song, and next thing I know, I'd hear him play it, and I said, that's my song. Once again, that's original. Those are the original things that, when put together, become memorable, not just to you, but maybe others who heard you. So when we break this word down, and I'll ask you this morning, are you stuck on your originality, on you being original? Are you stuck? Do you mostly take advice from others, or do you seek your own advice? Are you able to create your own stuff, or are you waiting for somebody to create something that you can build on? How do you look at your own ownership of something? So my O, and as I break the letter down, the word down, is owner. What's the ownership of anything that you do? Good morning, Miss Rosie. Happy New Year, my friend. Love you, love you, love you. Oh, observation. That's good. That's good. Because to me, you have to observe others in order for you to understand where you are. And a lot of times we get the idea that we aren't good as others. That's observational. But many times we're not only good, we're great. But if we have no confidence in what it is that we do in our owning of who we are, we get lost. We get lost. One and only. I like that. I like that. Observation and one and only. But I said owner. I said a person who owns something, or one who owns property belonging to them, or as a processor of information, or owning of something in terms of physical ownership. It says they may be the proprietor or the proprietress. They may be the keeper or the proprietric. Basically they're in a position to say, this is mine. I started this. This is mine. I own this. Like I think a great example of that is a person who's been given a house, and they make a house into a home by what they may put into the house. It may be that they have a theme of Oriental, furnishings, or they may have, what I would call French provincial or Italian, um, Italian, I would say it. I don't even know, Italian elegance. I have a mix. You come to my house, I have mixed. I have Italian furniture in my living room, dining room, and then I have real conventional American furniture in my family room with a lot of Black cultural stuff. As you can see, I have, paintings done by J. Daniel, who's a good friend of mine, and I bought his paintings when I could afford them. Can't afford them now, but I bought them then. Those are the kinds of things that make me feel at home in my house. And so those are the kinds of things that just say ownership. Ownership means possession of. Obligation. That's really good, because we need to be originator. That's good, Debbie. Debbie and Joan, those are good. We need to be the originators of our own stuff, our own, I would say, our own mess. It is ours. When we move further on in our word of original, I have real, REAL. Now, to me, the real deal is who did what, when was it done, how was it done, who was involved in it. That's real, actually existing as a thing or occurring in fact, not imagined or supposed. Actual, nonfiction, factual, historical, unimaginary. It says concrete, tangible, verdictable. All of it says it's real. Sometimes you look at certain things, you say, is that a real adaptation, or is that just a fictional adaptation? What is it? We don't know, because it's so good. You have to ask the questions. So when something is real, when it's tangible, when it's actually visible to us to see, then we can acknowledge that that's the real thing right there. That's the real thing. One of the things I did over the holidays is that I wanted to go see Willy Wonka. It's called Wonka. That's the new one. But I saw the original one. I was really young, might have been in my 20s, and I loved it. I just loved Willy Wonka, the music, just the fact that there was imaginary things going on where, chocolate, and I love chocolate. Not good for me, but I love it. Where chocolate also became the center of attention. How many of us could think of certain things that are center of attention to us, and we don't, what is it, rotten totten, oh, rootin' tootin', excuse me. We don't even realize the importance of little things that happen that become real to us. Well, when we're young and impressionable, a lot of things become real. That doesn't say that they have sustainability, but it's our real at the time, and so we have to talk about what is the real now. So when we move on in the word, we talk about, is it, when something is original, is it individualistic? Did you think of it, raw? Oh, that's good, Debbie. Raw, ready, raw, reaction, rating, rare. Ooh, realistic. All those words are great, because it really does give you a sense of, you understand what I'm talking about. Willy Wonka is one of my favorite books and movies. Absolutely. it to me, it just really, I remember reading it, and I remember, taking my daughter to, and they had like a showing at one of the theaters here, because it was before she was born that it was made. And so I made it a point. I said, "Hey, you want to go to movies with me?" She said, "What we're going to see?" I said, "Wonka." It was so good. It was different than the original, obviously. Um, it just was really a different kind of movie, and just something that really says that sometimes if we can dream, if we can imagine ourselves doing other things, coming up with ideas, imaginative, yes, being outside ourselves long enough to find that stitch that just says, how can I make this mine? Whatever you imagine that you can do, that you want to do. To me, that's how businesses are formed. That's how relationships, are solidly grounded in each other. Be it business, or be it, romantic, or be in friendships. They're solid based on the fact that they were imagined to be connected. But the individual idea that went into it, that's what brought it together, because the individuals could come in as themselves and be fine. Intuitive, intellectual. Ooh, y'all killing it this morning. I love it. You all are killing it. These are good words, great words. So when something is individualistic, obviously it's characterized by being individualism, independent, and self-reliant, meaning I don't have to ask somebody else, can I do this? I do it. You know, I didn't have to ask anybody else, could I create? Or are you stuck? It's just something that I had been doing since 2016. I retired at the end of 2014, and I started my business in 2015. And, the first time I ever did a live session was in 2016. April of 2016. So I'm excited about the fact that here I am. I have some stick to itiveness, and I'm still doing what I want to do, which is my individual choice. It says that therefore I am unique enough. It is a singular opportunity. I am liberated. I'm unconstrained, and I'm a maverick in some instances. That is also you. Anything that you have taken on to do, be it poetry, be it writing, be it singing, be it, acting, whatever it is that you do on the creative side, you know, outside, and maybe it's even outside of your work, because sometimes we find our best creativeness is our things that we're not paid for. We're not paid for the fact that we have things that we can do and do well. We're not paid for that. We love it enough where we would do it where there's not a dime in it. Maybe we have to spend some dimes to get more exposure and more experience, but we may not be paid, and so, and occasionally I am paid. I'm not gonna lie. So occasionally I do get something for what it is that I do. But my point is this: is that it's okay if I'm not. It's okay if I'm not, because I love it enough to share it. You know, let's see. Illustrative, yes, illustrative. Like I love anybody who are illustrators. Even for Mr. Al's book. You know, just finding people that could do what I needed done. You know, you just can't get enough of those kinds of things. You're looking for somebody that can take your ideas and put them down on paper, and then it becomes real. REAL, just what I talked about. So when we move on in the word of original, my G is for genuine. How genuine is it that we are? It says it's truly what something is said to be. It is authentic. A lot of times people will tell you things are authentic, like pieces of artwork, or, poetry, or things that have been written, and only to find out that somebody else wrote them. Somebody else, did the creation of it. and there it is. It's live. It's there for the undertaking. It's groundbreaking. It's general. It's genuine. All of those things. But genuine talks about it being actual, verifiable. Ugh. Sometimes you can't even you attempt to verify stuff, and it's very difficult to do it, especially in the age of good morning, Eddie. How are you doing, my friend? Jim, I love that. It's good to see you. Happy New Year to you and Miss Gwen. Glad to see you in the space. So when we talk about something being, putting it in a position where it is genuine, it talks about it being bona fide, unaltered, undisputed. I remember when we were little, we would I didn't like it, but my parents, my father especially, liked boxing, and they would always talk about the undisputed truth. Okay, they are the champion of the world. All right. So genuine is rightful, valid, sound, and legitimate. All those things speak to what genuine is. We don't even realize that sometimes we are the gem, which is what Debbie just said. We're the gem. We might even be the general, and in this instance, the general, the one that does the saluting, because we've been the originator of something. We've been the orchestrator of it. We've been the teacher and the preacher and the basically we've carried it along. We've kept the order. When we move on in the word, my I is for initial. What is initial? Existing or occurring at the beginning. I always acknowledge people who start things and stick to it. And even if they have to go back in and what I say, redo the blueprint, no problem. Redo it. Once you find out that certain things aren't working, then you add something else. Identity, that's good. Grand, that was from the previous grand genius. Identity is caught up in something being initial, because sometimes we associate certain things with certain people. You could think of like who has always been considered to be the number one, host, daytime show. They would say Oprah. Who's the current, singer that has really rocked the world, not just America. That would start with Taylor Swift, Beyonce, those kinds of things. So we know, we talk about the initial, understanding that things have a beginning, they have an opening, a commencing, a starting point, an inception, and an inceptive, that there's a period of primeness where we hear them all the time. They may be influential or influencers. Thank you, Debbie. They may be irregular or very regular. It says that also they may be the ones who are the fundamental, foundational, introductory, inaugural individuals. I mean, haven't you seen some people that are so big in life, that, they just always will associate. You say Amazon, big. Disney, big. Who would have ever thought that a mouse would be ruling so much stuff? But that's how we were exposed to understanding the existence of initial, of just starting and making it clear that they are original. These things were originated for the sole purpose that they would be retained in our memory. And we are. You have people that, I think I just saw on television the other day where a 93-year-old lady always wanted to go to Disney. So they sent her to Disney, to Paris, and her entire family. I want to go to Disney, but I've been to Disney once, but I want to go again. I enjoy Disney. I no lie, I enjoy Disney. When we move further on in our word, after initial, we go to non-fiction. When something is original, it is nonfiction. That means it's real. It says, as in prose writing that is based on facts, real events, and real people, such as biographies or history. It says, take this note in strong matches. It says, article, autobiography, broadcast writing, chronicle documentaries, essays, expositional history, information memoirs, newspapers, news and newspapers, writing records, it says, and reporting of the truth are all in writing. However, we do know that in some instances, things that are said to be nonfiction are actually made up. They are fictional. You know, one of the key things that they do now is they fact check what it is that is written, and the fact check, and I think they can do it through OWL at Purdue University, but others are out there, I'm quite sure, that you can actually Google it and it'll tell you who said it, or who claimed to have said it, and they can give you that information. So we have name, narrative, news, noteworthy. I like that one too. Natural. I think when things are natural, they would be more nonfiction than fictional. Okay, if it's natural. So it also talks about the other synonyms would be a nonfiction would be articles, broadcast writing, any kind of autobiographical information, essays, expositions, memoirs. Like if you have your own memoir to write, that would be nonfiction. It would be nonfiction. Also, it talks about history. Now they always say that history repeats itself, and my thing is with history, it depends on the storyteller, because sometimes if people only got or received part of the story, then they can only tell you part of what is real, what is original, what really happened. But I realize that's the way it is. But you have to go back through the books and deal with history to figure out how did certain wars take place, how did this happen in this particular portion of the world, and how did it happen in another portion of the world. So you have to go back and look those things up. It says reporting would be non-fictional. It should be, and it should be truthful. And lastly, it says it is informational. It's information. That's who we are when we're original. We are the conductors of information, which should be real, true, and authentic is my A. Authentic. Authentic means of undisputed origin. There it is. There's that word again. Genuine, original, actual, true. There it is again. Verifiable. How many of us are verified in what it is that we look up and do? Well, I can tell you that every time I give you a word, I've looked the word up and I'm looking at all the things that can go along with the word. Actual is good, Joan. Oh, that was Debbie, excuse me. Acquire. Oh, that's good. Acquaint. These are so good. Those words are wonderful, because we must acquaint ourselves with what it is that we say is real and original. It says also undisputed. It's legitimate. It's something that is etched. I always used to get that word whenever when I was little. I always said, "What is etched?" And then I finally remembered, to look it up, and it really spoke of when something is etched. That means there's more like an engraving of it, an engraving, like you see, such as pictures etched on glass. Like I have one over here of a rose, and it's etched in glass. And I said, but it looks like it's all outside, but really it's beveled in. So when you turn it, you'll be able to see, the intricacies of it. But it's really beautiful. Authentic talks about it being the real thing, the real thing. And that's us in life. We need to be, the ones that originate what it is that we do, and be excited about it, how we put things together and what it is that we expect, and hope that others will get out of it. And lastly, my L. I know you finally said that she don't hurry up and finish. My L is for the lead off. What is the lead off of something? It says that's when something is set in motion. Legit is good. Lettering is good. All those are wonderful. It says to set in motion is to cause something to get started. It's good stuff. It's like who's behind it? How is it working? How will it commence? What will make it start? Those of us who have been in projects and live long enough to start things, even a company is a start, And I don't have a big company. I don't. I have I would say it's a small business. It's almost like boutique-ish. It's not meant to rock the world. It's just meant as a means of doing little things, on a smaller scale, and it has worked. It has worked well. But when we really speak of being original, we really want to look at the ownership of stuff, the realness of it, the individualisticness of it. Is it ours? The genuineness of it. Is it authentic? Is it the initial thing that we're launching off ourselves? Is it nonfiction? And once again, is it authentic? And lastly, what's the lead off? How do we get from where we start up the road, moving it forward into the consciousness of others, and also the playing field of others? Will they come back? You all have done that for me. I appreciate it so much. I'm very excited about 2024. If you have some words that you want me to work on, I would love to do that. And I at one time I used to try to keep my words around 4 or 5 letters, but I went bold for the end of the year, which was all lang syne, which is ended up being like 12, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna kill me, but y'all hung in there with me. And today being original, once again, that's a longer word than what I'm used to. So let's ramp it up, have fun, learn more about what it is that we want this year. I'm wishing you all the best 2024 ever. Decide how you want to live it. Come up with something that you can originate, or work on what you've already been given. A lot of times that we've been given stuff that we put on shelves. We don't have to. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You didn't think I knew it? I love Mary Poppins too. Don't start me. I'm truly anything dealing with musicals, I'm there. Okay. I watched a couple of them over the weekend, and last week, and I enjoy them. And of course I went to see Wonka, so I'm good. I'm going to see you all on Friday this week. So this week is just Wednesday and Friday. And then I'll be back all next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I love you guys so dearly. Appreciate the fact. If you don't do anything else, just send this "Are you stuck?" to somebody else, so that they will see that there's somebody out there working with them to get them to think more personally about themselves while they may be in the presence of others, working with others, caring for others, loving others, but most of all, looking out to grow themselves. Okay? I love you. I'm going to see you soon. How long do you think it would take to do that word? Super. Girl, we might be on 2 hours. I may try it. Maybe we'll take out the super. We'll do super first, or super cal. I should have known you had something up your sleeve, but we'll figure it out. See you all after the 14th. Okay, you're traveling. All right, be safe. Love you. Enjoy. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Hit the share button before you go. Thanks. Bye-bye.